Hey guys, ECRG here, back with another episode. The title of today's episode is the CRA and Study Coordinator Dynamic. So, what does that really mean? So, what I'm going to talk to you guys today about is why the CRA slash Study Coordinator dynamic is both important and why it's very interesting. And I would say that the CRA study coordinator dynamic is one of the most important relationships and dynamics in clinical research because the study coordinator is someone who's actually conducting the research on a day in and day out basis. They're interacting with the patients. They're making sure that the PI is maintaining proper oversight. They're making sure the PI is doing what they need to do. They are there with the patients, doing informed consent with them. They are, taking them to the daily, maybe taking them to go do labs, making sure that the visit is running smoothly, and then taking that data that they collect and then inputting that into the ECRF. And while, obviously not one study coordinator is doing the entire study's worth of patients, but each study coordinator at each site is incredibly important to the research that is being conducted. And of course, the CRA is sent out to these sites to conduct these monitoring visits at a regular interval to make sure that the site, but mainly the study coordinator, is doing what they need to do. But pretty much the site, they're evaluating the site at every single one of these visits, making sure that the research is being conducted in an appropriate manner, and appropriate for the sponsor, that is, and making sure that the sponsor is going to be able to get great data to be able to report to the FDA. That's basically what's going on at a macro micro level. And the reason why this dynamic is very, very interesting is because the CRA is constantly looking at the study coordinator's work. Every single visit, every visit. But the study coordinator doesn't really ever get a chance to see the CRA's work. So there's no chance where the study coordinator gets to check the CRA. And this is the CRA that comes on site and, tells the study coordinator, okay, you need to make sure this, or double check this, or you need to answer this query. You need to do this. You need to do this. And I'm wondering, I've never been a study coordinator, if the study coordinators eventually kind of get tired of this dynamic, because it seems like the CRA is like the boss of them, even though they're not really, and kind of telling them over and over, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. So that's why I'm very cognizant of me when I'm on site, how I speak to my study coordinators, because I know that just because of the dynamic, the relationship that we have, it may come off, very bossy or just in not a good way, just because of the way that the dynamic is set up. So I think that's something that CRA should definitely think about and make sure that you're speaking to the site staff and study coordinators in an appropriate manner, because that is an interesting dynamic that CRAs and study coordinators have. So, just to take a break from that for a second, for those of you that are interested in either becoming a study coordinator or a CRA and having a hard time breaking into the clinical research industry, well, we've got the resume review program, and as well as interview preparation, and as well as we have LinkedIn profile reviews. So if you're interested in that, if you're having a hard time breaking in the industry, or maybe you're having a hard time leveling up in the clinical research industry, then this is for you. So email me, eliteclinicalgroup@gmail.com, to get more information about that. And I have helped plenty of candidates get their foot in the door. Just received word from another client the other week that as soon as we got done finishing up her resume, she got 3 interviews, 2 phone interviews, 1 in person the next week after we finished. So great success stories here, and feel free to email me if you're interested. So back to the CRA study coordinator dynamic. This is really one of the most important dynamics in the clinical research industry because of all the things I just mentioned, but also any strain on this relationship could dramatically affect patient data. So when you really are getting down to it, when you're really getting down to research and conducting research the right way, at least from the sponsor top level, they talk about that CRA study coordinator dynamic as being one of the most important relationships in clinical research as a whole, just because those two people have so much, they're so vital, there's so much importance between those two positions. So that's why, they really want very qualified people to be coordinators. Typically, if you're, just an entry-level coordinator, you're going to be on there with someone else. You're not going to be handling the patients yourself. If you are, then, that's great experience for you. But the CRA, because they're really kind of checking the study coordinator's work, it's not an entry-level position. You've got to have a couple years of experience under your belt before you're a CRA. And that's really where they get the term entry-level CRA. Even though you're not having 0 years of clinical research experience, you have 0 years of clinical research experience as a CRA. That's what they mean by entry-level, but it's really a wrong use of the word, because entry-level typically means 0 experience. So that's weird. But they do that all over the industry. They'll say entry-level coordinator when they really want people with 1 to 3 years experience. But that's not the case. Study coordinator, you can get that position without any experience, for sure. So just want to let you guys know, for those that are new to clinical research, didn't really understand the relationship between a CRA and a study coordinator. I know these positions can kind of be confusing and they all sound similar, research coordinator, clinical research coordinator, sound similar. So anyway, guys, that's it for this episode. If you have any questions or queries, you want me to answer a personal question for you, email me, eliteclinicalgroup@gmail.com. Take care, guys.